Let's start by examining the operational risk management setup. Our discussion will begin by identifying the sources of operational risk and delving into its management. Operational risk for financial institutions. Considering that operational risk is deeply ingrained in financial institutions, it poses a significant threat to their overall performance. The increased reliance on information and system technology has magnified its importance, making the management of these systems paramount. Despite technological advancements that have facilitated improvements in measuring and managing operational risk, the same innovations are exposing financial institutions to greater operational and systems risk, particularly in areas such as fintech. Therefore, it's imperative for financial institutions and regulators to continually enhance their ability to manage and mitigate operational risk. The IIA's 3 lines model. Institutions typically organize risk management into 3 lines. The first line is the business line, which is responsible for owning and managing risks. The business line functions are in the best position to identify, assess, and manage the risks associated with their operations. They have first-hand knowledge and experience to effectively allocate scarce risk capital. The primary responsibility for measuring and managing risks within their particular area of business or functional unit lies with the business units themselves, making them the risk owners. As they are closest to the acceptance and mitigation of risk, business units are considered the first line. They possess first-hand knowledge and experience in managing the risks associated with their operations, including the potential impact on their business. It is the duty of business and functional leaders to define their strategies and align them with the appropriate risk appetite and tolerance levels. After establishing the risk appetite statement, any policy exceptions must be reported to the CRO or executive management. Ultimately, it is the business and functional units that are accountable for ensuring their operations perform in line with the risk tolerances outlined in the risk appetite statement. The second line consists of risk management and compliance functions that specialize in overseeing and enforcing risk management policies and procedures. They work closely with the business line managers to ensure that all groups operate within agreed-upon risk limits and maintain effective risk management systems. The development and communication of the risk appetite statement framework falls under the responsibility of executive management, with support from the risk and compliance functions. The lead for this effort is typically the CRO or equivalent. Overall corporate strategy is established by the CEO, with input from the executive management team to ensure alignment with business unit strategies. At the enterprise level, executive management defines the risk appetite and risk tolerances, while also providing ongoing reporting to key stakeholders and the board. The CRO and ERM team are tasked with developing tools for measuring and monitoring aggregate risk exposures against risk tolerances. They must also provide business context, expert analyses, and root causes for any breaches in risk tolerance. Ultimately, executive management is accountable for optimizing the organization's risk-return profile and for fostering a strong risk culture. The third line is internal audit, which provides independent assurance that the business line management and risk management functions are complying with institutional policies and limits set by senior management and the board of directors, BOD, while the business line manager's management. Controls and internal control measures are considered most important in the 3 lines model by the IIA. All 3 lines play a crucial role in ensuring an effective risk management system. The board, with the support of internal audit, is responsible for reviewing, challenging, and approving the risk appetite statement framework. Once the framework is in place, the role of the board shifts to providing independent oversight. The risk or audit committee may take the lead in this ongoing process. It is also the responsibility of the risk or audit committee to step in when it sees exposures that are consistently above risk tolerances, or if a business or functional unit does not demonstrate a strong risk culture. These failures may require a deep dive to investigate and correct. On the other hand, if risk limits and tolerances are never exceeded, then the board may reasonably question whether the RAS tolerances are too high or lacks to be effective. Definitions of operational risk. Narrow, Basel II, Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Regulatory bodies such as the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, BCBS, have defined operational risk narrower. Operational risk includes the risk of losses from 1. Inadequate or unsuccessful internal processes. 2. Human error. 3. Issues with systems. 4. External events. This encompasses legal risks, as fraud is a significant category of operational risk loss events and can lead to legal issues. However, it excludes strategic and reputational risks. Wide. The definition of BCBS is designed primarily for regulatory capital calculation, and therefore, it is artificial. However, it is important to note that the largest operational risk component, namely business risk, is omitted from this definition. Additionally, reputational risk, which can be considered the biggest business risk, is also excluded. This leaves a gap in the definition as it fails to include all risks other than credit and market risks that could potentially cause volatility in the bank's revenues, expenses, and overall value. Reputation risk in an operational risk. Reputational risk is a crucial asset for financial institutions as it reflects their current and future prospects and influences stakeholders' perception of their desirability as compared to competitors. Quantifying this risk can be challenging, but a useful approach is to examine the settlements that major banks have made over the past decade due to reputational disasters such as the LIBOR fraud, foreign exchange trading fraud, and unauthorized account openings by Wells Fargo, which have cost these institutions over $100 billion. To manage reputation risk effectively, financial institutions typically focus on 3 key elements: crisis management, which involves acute risk management based on catastrophic operational risk management strategies. 2. Risk management, which addresses latent reputational challenges that may arise over time. 3. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, which involves implementing ethical practices and policies to maintain public trust and support. Apart from these, reputational risks also encompass market manipulation and ethical issues in retail lending practices, like redlining. The development of regulatory focus with regard to banking risks. In the past, regulatory attention was primarily devoted to credit risk. However, with the upgrade to Basel I in 1995, the scope of regulation expanded to encompass both credit and market risks. Operational risk was subsequently incorporated in 2004. Unfortunately, residual risks like strategic and reputational risks were not included within the Basel framework. Banking risks. Credit and market risks are particular to the financial industry, whereas operational risk is a more general business risk with distinct characteristics in banking and finance. While credit and market risks directly impact profits, operational risk is inherent in the regular course of business activities. The majority of banks' profits and those generated by their lending and trading businesses stem from credit and market risks. Although operational risk is not associated with specific products or revenue sources, it remains a critical factor in sustaining and expanding profitability for financial institutions. Effective operational risk management enables us to adopt a holistic approach that encompasses the entire enterprise. By doing so, we can create an elaborate risk profile that business line managers and senior executives can use to enhance their decision-making capabilities. Operational risk is pervasive in every aspect of a business, making operational risk management akin to enterprise risk management. Developing an operational risk management framework entails crafting a comprehensive risk profile for each functional area of the organization. Business heads and senior management, with the support of the risk management function, are responsible for creating these profiles. Types of operational risk. Let's explore the primary sources of operational risk. Operational risk can be classified into 3 main categories: process risks, conduct risks, and external risks. Process risks pertain to the various challenges associated with executing tasks, delivering products or services, managing processes, dealing with business disruptions, and facing system failures. Conduct risks are linked to a business's interactions with its clients. They may include potential risks related to the organization's products, business practices, employment policies, and internal factors such as fraud or unethical behavior. External risks, which represent the 3rd category of operational risk, arise from events outside of a business's control. These risks may involve theft and fraud committed by external parties, as well as damage inflicted upon physical assets. Examples of external risks faced by banks could include credit card fraud and money laundering. Sources of operational risks. Operational risk can manifest in various specific forms, such as inappropriate business practices or market conduct, inadequate due diligence, or non-compliance with credit market or operational policies and limits in business selection, deficiencies in infrastructure adequacy and capacity that limit business growth, and compromised financial integrity resulting from poor accounting, record-keeping, or reporting. Ensuring compliance with laws and regulations is essential for any business. Failure to comply with these laws and regulations can result in significant legal, financial, and reputational consequences. Apart from non-compliance, there are other operational risks that businesses should be aware of. These include information security. This involves the inappropriate safeguarding of customer or proprietary information assets. Cybersecurity also falls under this category as it relates to the failure to safeguard customer proprietary information. Continuity of business. Business continuity risk refers to the inability to continue operations during a catastrophic event. Employment practices. Inappropriate employment practices or workplace environment can also pose operational risks. Vendor management using third-party vendors can introduce additional risks to the business. If these vendors have poor practices, risks not eliminated, the business that hired them becomes responsible for the consequences. Operational risk, categories and activity examples. Here are the primary categories of operational risk, along with the business practices and events that contribute to each type of risk. Internal fraud, external fraud, and systems hacking by outsiders, and employment practices and workplace safety, and damage to physical assets. Other categories are client products and business practices. This category includes risks related to client products, suitability issues, fiduciary breaches, failure to know your customers, KIC, and improper market practices such as market manipulation. Business disruption. This category encompasses risks caused by system failures, including hardware or telecommunication issues and software-related problems. Execution, delivery, and process management. This category involves risks associated with transactions, monitoring, reporting, customer intake documentation, vendor management, and third-party outsourcing failures. Trend in operational losses. In the past 5 years, there's been a significant surge in the number of internet-related crimes reported to the FBI. The losses associated with these incidents have escalated from approximately $1 billion annually in 2015 to more than $3 billion annually in 2019. Trend in banking operational losses. The occurrences of theft and fraud losses have dwindled, resulting in a decrease in monetary losses from roughly $28 billion in 2018 to a mere $15 billion in 2019. While the quantity of theft and fraud-related events has persisted, it appears that banks have managed to limit their financial vulnerability to these incidents, but have not been able to diminish the total number of such events. Third-party and outsourcing risk. Outsourcing and utilizing third-party vendors represent another critical origin of operational risk. Financial firms have identified cybersecurity, information security, business continuity, resilience, and reputational risk as the primary hazards associated with outsourcing. Moving forward, we will delve into the progression of operational risk as a structured discipline of risk management. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more calming and uplifting content. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video.